Yeah, yeah. What they saying? I'm so divine, I'm so divine. Imperfection, perfection, my presence shines. My mental is parasailing maritime. They say I'm destined to read the palm line. Yeah, I'm so divine, I'm so divine. Imperfection, perfection, my presence shines. My mental is parasailing maritime. They say I'm destined to read the palm line. Yeah, I'm so divine.
Welcome to episode 2, why we started a podcast. So guys, a lot of people start podcasts, a lot of information out there in the world now, especially at this time. Why did we decide to start a podcast? And I'll start with you, DT. What is it that we're going to give, or what is the reason behind us starting a podcast, especially now?
So, in my opinion, my thoughts, my intentions with this partnership, this podcast, essentially was to answer the questions from those that already ask, right? It's crazy because you got friends, you got family, you got peers, you got investors, people who see what you're doing, whether they're local, online, social media friends, whatever that looks like. They ask you, hey, what do you do? How do you do it? Can you help me? I'm interested. It looks appealing. I see that you're doing well. I would like to be involved with that.
You're rich, I know.
And it's crazy because you start talking to them. You're like, hey, this is what I do. Because really, 90% of my conversation with these people are about real estate. So when you get, family gatherings, phone conversations, meetings, whatever you do, you talk about real estate. They're like, man, I would love to do that. I would love to do that. You be like, hey, just call me, give me a shout. I'll point you in the right direction. I'll tell you about it. When you tell them that for free, or when you tell them that in conversation, it goes by the wayside. So you would think that if I'm offering you this information free, or if I'm offering you my services or all what I know, my information, my knowledge, you take advantage of it. I've found it to be that, most people don't. There are some that do, though. I have a lot of, not a lot, but I have few friends that have, few associates that have taken advantage of my information. We've worked together and they become, successful. But then you got the people who just keep kind of tire kickers. So you want to you won't take that advice for free. But if I sell it to you, or if I try to make you get involved with a social media content, you'll do that. You'll follow me on Instagram. You'll follow me on Facebook. You'll like all my comments. You'll, repeat and you'll comment on them, but you won't put it into action because for you, it doesn't cost nothing. But now if I create some type of content, if I create a program for you to do what I do or what I've done, you'll buy it. And now you'll follow it.
Sounds so strange, doesn't it?
It does. It's like backwards. And it took me so long to really understand it because I wanted to give it away. I wanted to just give it away because I was like, somebody told you this. I asked a million questions and I always learned what I learned just by asking a million questions. And I never had to really pay. Well, for the most part, I didn't pay for the answers. So when these people, my, associates, friends, family, whatever, now they're willing to pay for it. Now they hold me accountable. Oh, I paid you for this service. So now I want you to answer all these questions. But in retrospect,
now I need the service.
Right. And I need it now. In retrospect, I would have done the same thing for you a year ago, 2 years ago for free. You just never took advantage of it. But now because you gave me $1 or $5, when you call me and I don't answer, you're mad. Or, you know what I'm saying? So full circle, why podcast? I just kind of got fed up with giving a bunch of people that I know, that I love, that I respect, a bunch of very valuable information and they really did nothing with it. So I figured, why not put all my information, knowledge, experience that I have into a podcast that I don't even know who I'm going to reach. I just know that it could reach somebody that may listen. Now, there may be 1 million listeners and maybe only 100 of them listen, but that's 100 more than ever listened to me before, or maybe 90 more that ever listened to me before. You follow what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's really my interest in a podcast, to get this information, because they don't teach this to us in school. There's no real estate class in high school, middle school. There's no finance class in high school, at least not the school I went to. There is no real estate market. There is no how to be a realtor. There is no how to be a mortgage broker. There is no how to be an insurance broker. There is no how to wholesale. There is no how to create a credit, how to establish credit. There is none of that. So I think this is, I'm not gonna say it's more valuable than high school, but for me, it produces more results than what high school produced for me.
Got you. So to sum that up, you're really trying to reach the masses, on a platform now. So you do it and I think a lot of people have had this problem, right? So you tell friends, you tell family, and they're like, yeah, I'll do it. Yeah. Let's talk next week. Yeah. And then yeah, never comes.
Never comes.
Right.
Never
I hear it a lot.
You know what happened was I lost the number.
What had happened was,
they hit you with the Kevin Hart, the way my bank account is set up. so at the end of the day, you get fed up because it falls on deaf ears. You feel like you when you first start. I know, just Jerry, when you first start, you want to tell everybody.
Mm-hmm.
You're like,
yeah,
everybody, come here. Look what I just did.
Yeah.
I actually did it. And they go, because they don't see you pull up in a Ferrari, after you purchase your first property.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
It really not, maybe just a statement and then response to it. I kind of felt, to your point, when you first started, like I wanted to tell everybody, but because who I am, the person who I've always been, I'm never a braggadocious type of person. I've never been that kind of person. So when it first happened, I was like, I gotta share this with somebody has to realize what just happened, right? So I went to my parents. So I'm telling my parents what just happened. And my dad was like, "You're bugging. You bought that? You're bragging about that? Did you see what you just bought?" And it was a shack. It was a bad house. It was a terrible house. The house had holes in the roof. It was bad. It was terrible. But in my brain, that was my key to success. In his brain, he was like, "My son lost his mind." So
I want to stop here. So that's the other part of it, right? So when someone does listen, and then you show them, they go, what is this?
Right.
They can't see the vision.
They can't see it.
It kind of killed my spirit. Like, yeah, I don't brag. I don't really say nothing. But the person I say it to is like, "Yo, you're tripping." I'm like, you know what? I ain't gonna tell nobody. I'm just gonna let them see it.
After that.
Right. And but I know. So you were. I'm not gonna tell anybody. The one person you did tell, it kind of shot you down a little bit, and you went,
Really, he didn't shoot me down, but he was just like, "Yo, bro, like." You gotta get checked out.
Stop bragging. Stop bragging.
Yeah, no. Something ain't right with you. You're bugging. That's not what you want to brag about right there.
But with just Jerry, and I have a little more insight with you. I know you kind of are the opposite. Like you kind of want to bring people along, right? And you've had issues.
Absolutely.
I know about bringing people along.
I'll give you some. The reason why I would jump in the podcast is a couple reasons. One main reason is what we bring to the table is, I don't want to say other people don't bring to the table, but what we bring to the table, we don't give you the snippet. We give you transparency. We tell you, hey, this is gonna sting just a little bit, but the end result is what you're looking for. We're going to walk with you and say, hey, I told you it's going to sting a little bit, but if you could hold on to it, that tunnel, that light at the tunnel is there. So and other podcasts, they give you a little snippet of the real world of real estate. What we try to do on this side is we give you the real world and the bad, and it comes together. It comes together because when they tell you they were a millionaire or they got to 15 units or 20 units, they went through some mud to get there.
Right.
And they forget to tell you that.
Yeah, they leave that out.
They leave that out. And what I would like to do is
Conveniently
be as transparent as I can. Because when I mentor people, when I talk to people, when I bring them around, I tell them, hey, I'm going to give you the real. I'm not going to give you what I'm at right now. Because where we at a different level.
Yep.
I don't want to give you the goods, because if I tell you the goods, then you'll jump on anything and you just give me all your money. No.
Right.
I want you to think about it. I want you to understand it. I want you to know that there's going to be some hard days and hard nights. So that's where I jump in on the podcast for, so I could give the real, so I could give you the conversation that a lot of people don't do.
So you want to have the hard conversation.
I want to have the hard. That's why I'm
It's
here.
not sexy all the time.
It's not.
Yeah, because I tell you what, on Instagram or on YouTube, there's a lot of sexiness going on, and I'm not talking about visual. I'm talking about to the ear. It sounds great. Oh wow, just for that, I can no money. I can listen. Even when you wholesale, it's a grind.
It's a grind.
It's a grind. Those guys that land, you hear they made $20,000 off of one deal. Listen, he couldn't find a buyer.
He called 40,000 people to get that one buyer.
Right.
He's calling 100 people a day. I mean, these are things that people have to be explained too.
They forget to tell you that. Lance, I'm sorry to cut you off.
No worries.
Respectfully, they don't forget.
They do it on purpose. No. I was using that real lightly. No shots towards other people.
It's convenient how they
towards other people who shoot it, but I feel like that. Go ahead.
The reason why they forget to tell you is because
it doesn't sell.
It doesn't sell. We're here to sell, but we also here to tell you, hey, we've all been through the mud.
Right.
We've all done it. We didn't come with a silver spoon. We didn't do that. We didn't come for money. Yeah. But we're at where we at because we had the grind.
Absolutely.
And we had the patience. We had the grind. We had the flow. We had the goal.
We had the team.
And we had the vision.
We have the team.
We have the team. Absolutely. And that's what we're gonna come down every episode. You're gonna get some real or some hidden gems from us.
Nothing but hidden gems.
Exactly. That's what we're gonna try to do. And that's what I'm gonna stand for. It's beautiful on the other side. But it was soil when I was getting through the other side.
Right. Wet soil.
So
not easy.
It wasn't easy. It wasn't easy.
Talk about your why you're in why you chose to be into podcast.
It's a little bit of what you guys said as well. There's one, you want to reach, people that want to be influenced, people that are looking, for the help, that want to listen, because we're contained to our little circles. Yep. Those people are busy with their jobs or this, they're not going to touch their 401k. Those are some of the people I'm around,
I remember that conversation.
I'm like, take that 401k. I promise what you're making now,
you
can do that over here.
Which you make zero with the 401k. You make zero.
Right. So it's stuff like that where sometimes I can't penetrate and get through to these people around me. Also, I always want to keep it real. I always want to be transparent. Right. This is just it is what it is. There's nothing that's foolproof. Can you make it easier along the way? Absolutely. Yeah. Have we gone through the mud and maybe can help people avoid that? Absolutely. Yeah, and that's what
we try to do. That's what we try to do.
And that's a big part of it for me. I know there's a lot of people out there that have $40,000, $50,000, $20,000 in the bank, and they don't know what to do. Like, so I read comments. I watch podcasts. There's a lot of good podcasts out there, real estate podcasts. I watch some myself, and I'm sure you guys do as well.
Absolutely.
But
There's never going to be a content of real estate that I don't want to watch.
Right.
I'm all in with real estate. So when you throw anything about real estate, I put my ears to it.
Absolutely.
So it doesn't matter if it's good or bad. If I don't agree with it, if I do agree with it, it doesn't matter. I want to be in it. I love what we do. I love what we do.
There's a lot of good podcasts out there that pertain to real estate. I think we can add value to this market.
Right. Absolutely.
And
what do you think? What do you think is like our most important or your most important? And I think we should ask that individually, right? Because I think that's a great point, right? We can add value to the market, to the podcast market, to the real estate market via this podcast. What's your one point that you think specifically that we add to this podcast that maybe you don't see, or maybe you do see, but you think we can maybe multiply that or make it better? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I would say, there's a couple things I want to say. One is transparency. I know people give it. I've seen where I'm like, all right, I can tell this guy's genuine when he's saying it. I can, and me having the knowledge, I know, to someone that doesn't have the knowledge, they'll fall for anything because they just don't know better. Right. I know better. So when I hear it, I go, okay, this guy's genuine. He knows what he's talking about. Right. Maybe does he make it sound a little easier than what it really is? Yeah. Is it so tough that you shouldn't try to get into it? Absolutely not.
Right.
But there are, like I said before, I didn't realize when we bought our first property, because I had bought a personal property and I didn't have to pay any closing costs. So me not being knowledgeable, I came in and I didn't think I was going to have to pay closing costs for my first investment property. Sounds dumb and crazy now. So, right. But these are the learning curve, right? Yeah. So these are the learning curves that I go through. Right. And then there may be someone watching this right now that's been investing forever and go, well, how stupid was this kid?
Right.
Exactly. And I don't want you to be the stupid kid. I want to bring you along and show you that, hey, listen, there are a lot of fees that go with this. And there's something you have to, you may have 20,000, but here's why I'm telling you need 25.
Right.
This is why I'm telling you need 5 more.
Correct.
And it's going to be this, so that's, it's stuff like that where you get that and it's going to save you heartache at the end. Where you're very prepared and you're ready for what could happen. I just think this podcast is gonna shoot through the roof with transparency.
I'm really big on transparency, but we definitely walk.
So Lance cheated.
Yeah, he took what I usually say.
So Lance cheated.
I'm good with that. I'm good. Thanks, Lance. Thanks. We do cheats in class.
Hey, listen, man. Everybody hates the person that sits next to the teacher.
Did I mention transparency? I just want to be very clear. Transparency.
What we bring to the table, like everybody else, that we walk the walk. We're not here speaking that we don't know. We've been through the mud. We've been through this. We've been through that, and we walk the walk. So we bring you along. So you don't have to, this podcast for us, we try to bring you along so you don't have to make the mistakes that we made. We also try to give you deals. We also going to tell you some markets that we go through, where we feel comfortable going at, the numbers that we work with. We give all the knowledge and all the information that brings you to the goal or closer to your goal that you want. And that's what I think. A lot of people give you the goods, and I stay on that. Is we're gonna give you everything, the whole picture, and the whole picture will make you jump to that goal. I think we bring that bigger picture.
Got you.
And what about you, DT? If you had to sum it all up, would you say transparency?
Well, the teacher
don't say that because
the teacher's pet already
all cheated. 3 of us saying transparency.
Yeah, the teacher's pet cheated. So we're not going to go there, Mr. One and Only. But there's a lot of things that I can say that we bring to the table. But if I had to highlight one, which would be separate from what you guys already introduce would be specifically our do's and don'ts, our past history, types of properties, types of deals, and creative financing, how to get through that. I don't have no money. I want to invest. How do I do it? I have a story for you. Not a story that I heard, a story that I did myself. That Jerry did, just Jerry did himself, that one and only did himself. You know what I mean? Those type of things. So if I have to highlight one thing, I think the personal experiences and the personal knowledge in the business is probably like the biggest gem, is the most valuable asset that we bring to the podcast, period. That's really why you watch. In my opinion, that's why the viewers will watch, because, there's many real estate podcasts. There's many people who talk about, investments. There's many people who talk about buying, flipping, holding, the Burr methods and all this good stuff. There's a lot of people who share the same, kind of ideology, if you will, right? Personalizing it kind of separates you from others. Some podcasts personalize it. I've yet to see a podcast where there's 3 members that have 3 separate stories, but yet all personalize it individually and it coincides. I've yet to see that. And I watch a lot. I watch a lot of podcasts, you know what I mean? And I've yet to see that. Not only that, but I've yet to see 3 separate people who are successful individually and in their partnerships collaborate and be able to have these type of conversations, like freely give away a bunch of information free, with the intention to create content, with the intention to create, a portal system, an avenue for those who are watching to invest in, follow, and become as successful, if not more successful. But I think I gave you 2 ideas. I was only supposed to give you one.
Yeah, no, that's fine. And I love what you were going right there, because, outside of, the camera looking at us now in this podcast that you're hearing, we've spoke about that. How do we create a portal? How do we give them what we have?
Right.
There are people out there ready to invest, but they don't have a system. They hear about it all day.
Yeah.
Go wholesale, or you can get great ROI here, and you can get, well, I'm like, well, who the hell do I call?
Right.
Who do I speak to? Where do I start? What am I supposed to get? What do I get a real estate agent for? What do I get one that I trust?
Hidden gem real estate group.
I mean, it's there's a lot of things. It can go real deep. I don't want to go too deep. Episode 2, but it's stuff like that where I think will really show the separation, in the up and coming, episodes. I think that is super key where you were going, and this podcast here is going to, I think, is going to be special. You highlight a lot of good things. You have 3 people individually coming together. They're successful.
I think that's unique. I think that's, and I think that people can, I don't know, hopefully they will, but I just think that, as we talk, right, they could see that we all come from different places. We all have different levels of education. We have different levels of, understanding. There's certain things that I'll expound on, you'll expound on, and our perspectives and views are all different. But at the end of the day, it goes to the same place. You know what I mean?
It comes to one place.
Full circle, 100%. And, I just think that that's a value, because, how many people out there are listening and Joe Schmo and, Sally Sue or Devon they're listening. They're like, yeah, I heard this podcast and they said some things, and they collaborate with their friends and they share that information, and then they put those thoughts together, and then they trying to figure out how to get there. And then they think, maybe I could join partnership, right? Maybe I could partner with my friend and get somewhere, which our episode previously was about partnership. Yeah. And, we touched on that too. So please make sure you look back at that. But my point is that, we're not just giving, it's just not just me on the screen telling my experience and where I'm at in real estate and what I do, how I do it, my thoughts, my experience. It's three of us, right? So you're hearing, and we're all from different places. All three of us live in different states.
That is correct.
None of us are next door neighbors. None of us see
It's
each
gonna
other.
get deep. It's gonna get deep.
Like,
It's very true.
Yeah, this is like, it's a lot, right? It's a lot with us. And I think the fact that there's a lot with us is another, that's a third point. Listen, man, I'm 3 up. I don't know about you guys.
I see you.
You guys gotta get on. You guys gotta get on my level right now.
What's today's
I know
date?
there's somebody listening
He's
to
on
us
a
right
game
now.
today.
There's somebody listening to us right now. Like, hold on, did he just say they all live in different states?
Yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on. And that's the whole
correct.
episode in itself.
And we've been in different states since the beginning.
Yeah, as when we met each other.
Sorry, at the beginning of what our relationship. Sorry.
Yeah, exactly. When we met each other, we lived in different states. As our relationship continues, we still live in different states. Until this day, we have never physically been in each other's presence.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
But we are established.
I know people are going, why? How?
Yeah, we're established, successful. We'll continue to be partners and giving you free game. Involved with not only a partnership, but a podcast in which we believe, which we are, physically, we're super, everything in us is involved with this. Like we believe 100% that this is what we're supposed to do. We all want to give back to our communities. We all want to give back to our, our friends, our family. We all do that, right? But honestly, we don't feel like, and I speak for us because we've had these conversations, that's not enough.
It's not enough.
Because the information we give, the times that we share, people don't gravitate to that. Because like I said before, when you give it away for free, they take it for granted. And it's not that it's a price tag that has to always be attached to it. It's just the fact that if I don't pay $1 for it, it doesn't mean nothing to me. But if I pay $1 for it, I expect my dollar. The whole dollar's worth. You know what I mean? And I just feel like that's how people gravitate to information.
No, it's. I want to say it's a proven fact, but I don't even know. I can't really say that because I'm not really sure. But it seems to be that's how it goes.
I just feel like experience shows that, right?
Absolutely. Because if we eat, let's give you food. If we eating pizza every day, and you guys don't really that his guy. We eat pizza. We really don't care of pizza after 2 months of it. But take it away.
Where's the
all
pizza?
you can do is think about that.
Where's the pizza?
Correct. Same analogy. These guys know it because we tell these guys, my friends, my family, let's get this real estate, get this house. Once I remove myself.
Can you share, not to stop you, and I know I think you were about to get into that, but I think that's a good kind of segue for us to all go into, briefly, a quick experience where you've tried to give some information away regarding real estate to friends, associates, loved ones, and just rejected, or they don't appreciate it until it's gone. Now when it's gone, they're like, oh, because they see, now the results, afterwards, 5, 10, 15 years in, when you're successful and you have a story to tell, now they want to be involved with it, as opposed to when you started and you were trying to grind with them. Something short, obviously, because we don't have the whole world, the whole time to tell, but something quick. Each one of you. We'll start with you, Judge Jerry.
What do I think of? I have family members that he's a good paying job. He has a good paying job. He worked for the state. And he just bought a house, personal house, and I'm like, yo, you just bought a personal house. That means you could use that as leverage if you want to get into real estate, into investments. So he kept on. I'm giving him all the knowledge. I'm giving him, hey, you don't have to pay. You don't even have to pay for cash. You have a credit card? Let's do that one. You don't even got to do. You can put a 0% down on personal money. You don't even got to spend no money to do this. I'm giving all the knowledge. I'm giving him.
Right. Free game.
And listen, this is me being out of love. And this is what I usually do. This is what we do now. I'm giving you this knowledge out of love.
Mm-hmm.
This is what we do. So I'm giving him that. I'm giving him and giving that. And then what was the conversation? I don't feel comfortable jumping into it knowing that I don't have no money. After I give him all the knowledge on to get it without the money. Now he gives me that. So now he gets a little money. He goes, I'm not feeling comfortable because it's not enough.
Okay.
So you didn't have money before. Now you have a little bit of money now, and you're still not comfortable. So that's half-assing for me.
Right.
So now I remove myself. I see him once a month, once every 2 months. I don't even discuss real estate with him at all no more. That's it. We don't. Hi, how you doing? How's the kids?
Closed
we move
door.
on from that.
Matter of fact, I got a podcast. Watch it.
What is the first conversation he speaks with me now?
Real estate.
I remove myself from the conversation.
Hey, do you know any good deals now?
Absolutely. I
got some money. I'm ready.
And now I'm like, I'm a little turned off. But because of the love I got, I still give him the little knowledge, the knowledge that he's looking for. But it's just that remove yourself from that,
yeah.
and they want it. They want it more than ever.
Right.
Same thing as what you were saying. You pay for it. They want it. You don't pay for it.
It's crazy.
I get it any day. Don't worry about it.
Unbelievable. What about
one of my stories?
I've kind of used a pitch. Like I've come up with like this pitch I have, and I'm like, what is your biggest expense? Like I'll give you an example because you never heard it before. DT, what's your biggest expense? What's your biggest bill?
My mortgage.
Same thing. No, it never changes. My rent, my mortgage, right? And I was telling him, so what would you say if I could take away your biggest bill?
Where do I sign?
Right? So it sounds simple when you tell somebody this. So I know a couple people that have a couple dollars and you know, they would be able to go ahead and jump in and buy a few properties where that would go ahead and take care of their rent or their mortgage.
Mm-hmm.
And still they watch me do it. You know, they hear me talk about it, and I still can't get these people to jump, even though I'm telling you I would take away their mortgage. So I mean, and they work a regular job. So how good would it be when you get your check to put it in your pocket instead of give it to the mortgage company and give it to the bank? Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much more I can make it look better.
Right.
You know, I don't know how to make it look sexier than that.
Yeah.
You know, I can take away your biggest bill. You're investing now. You're an investor. You're a property owner, and you get to keep your check when you get it. And I'm like, I must be bad at sales because I cannot get, you know, half these people, more than half. I can't get most of these people to jump.
Yeah.
So this podcast here, to me, is going to reach out to it. People will gravitate to this podcast because they want to hear it. They want to be here. They are looking for that avenue, you know, and I think it's going to do a lot for me. I know it'll do a lot for you guys as well, you know, because we like to help out. But right now, that friends and family thing, when they say you don't get in business with family and friends, it's almost like, don't talk about real estate.
It's so sad.
Don't talk about real estate with friends and family because, you know, we have mutual friends, just Jerry and I. So we're in a group chat, and I've watched him like talk about deals. Hey, you know, guys get into real estate, or look at this house here, you know, and
cricket.
It goes to the waistline.
Just that right there. I don't have to make comments. So it's just that. It's
and this is if they watch this, they're gonna laugh
because they know who we're talking about.
I'll hit the one and only and go, hey, I'm gonna throw this in the chat room right now and see what they say.
I'm like, go ahead.
And I do it just for fun, for the hell of it, and nothing. And he strikes out again.
That's why we do this too. We text on the side, and he throws it in there.
Yeah.
And just, I'm like, man, it don't matter. It don't matter. They can't be any closer to us. We are the source.
Right.
Yeah. They see that we do it, and still.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Doesn't matter. So you know, this podcast to me, I think it'll reach, you know, a lot of people in a broad audience, and I just hope the best for this, and for the people that decide to take this ride with us. You know,
I'm sure there's people who've done the same, you know, not just in real estate, right? In similar businesses, somebody who does stocks, somebody who does, you know, sells cars, or, you know, credit card business, you know, the tech business. Hey, listen, you're looking for a job, you're looking for a career, do this, do this, do that. I can walk you through it. You know, they just don't listen. You know, they see your success and they want it, but they don't want to put the work in. You know, they want to have these things, whatever that is, but they don't want to put the work in. I had a conversation. Go ahead.
And to not to cut you off, but that is exactly the mindset. They want to turn into millionaires the next day, very, very quick. And to other, not to throw shade at other podcasts, that's what they sell. They're millionaires, and they live in lavish houses and vacations, and you want that. We could talk about that here,
as we will,
but that's not what we want you to understand. We want you to get to the next level, and to get to the next level, you got to work for it. You got to put a little work into that.
Yeah, you don't buy a property and end up on the beach the next day. It just didn't happen. It didn't happen. Right. I'm sick of seeing that. You know, and I'm not saying every podcast. They're really, really good podcasts. I want to reiterate this. There's really, really good podcasts out there, you know, especially when it comes to real estate. But then I see other ones and I'm like, man, please stop. You know, and I'll read the comments and I'm like, man, they got them. They got them. Yeah, you know, I'm like, they must not know enough of wherever it is that they're selling and these people are buying into. I'm like, they got them, you know, and I think it hurts.
Part of podcasting though is like, in my opinion, the podcast that I've seen is the character, the
bigger than life character.
Yeah, like the personalities, right? Yeah. The personality or the personalities that are performing in the podcast.
Yeah,
they buy into that more than the content, right? So there's some podcasts, and this is no shots because I'm watching them, you know what I mean? So I probably bought into the character as well. But they, even when you watch, like, let's go off podcasts, go to like TV, like HGTV. When you watch that, right? There's certain shows you watch that I don't really love the show. I like the character in the show, right? The character, I like the way that they present the content. What they're saying, I already know, but I like what they're saying. I like how they present it. It's appealing to me. Then there's other ones that say the same thing, but just in a different way, and it doesn't appeal to me.
Right. And to that fact, even that's not transparent because you see it. Bought it for 100,000. Put in 20,000.
Yeah, the TV thing is
market
a whole hoax.
Market value 200,000. Profit 80,000. And like it's not that you had a realtor.
Lack is transparency on TV. Yeah. Transparency is not a real thing,
and that's what we go for. Over here.
Yeah,
I'd rather have the transparency, and I reach two people, and they really understand the work that goes into it.
Yeah.
Than me reaching 800,000 people and nobody really learns from us. I really want to stand on that.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
In my opinion, I think you know, this podcast thing is like, you know, the people we're reaching. I'm thinking like we're showing them a high-rise building, right? Like a skyscraper in downtown. You know, it might have 45 levels, right? So in whatever city you live in, there's a building downtown that has 25, 35, 45 levels, right? So there's the penthouse, or there's the top floor, and then obviously there's the entry-level floor. Wherever you enter the building is where you start. Where you finish is where you choose to finish, right? We're telling you we have experiences on every level. We can get you from the garage where you park your car to the top floor and everything in between, because we've been through that. Once we get to that top floor, this becomes our office. When I say our, I mean we have an office there. We're asking you to join us.
That's right.
You dig what I'm saying? That's how I view, the overall view or intent of this podcast.
There you go. Hey, listen, I appreciate the insight, guys. I mean, we hope we gave you guys great insight on why we decided to start this podcast. And hopefully you guys come with us with the journey, and we appreciate you guys. All right. Until next time. See you later.
Yeah. What they say? I'm so divine, I'm so divine. Imperfection, perfection, my presence shines. My mental's parasailing maritime. They say I'm destined to read the palm line. Yeah, I'm so divine, I'm so divine. Imperfection, perfection, my presence shines. My mental's parasailing maritime. They say I'm destined to read the palm